stay at the job. So just monitor series. Actually, a couple days to get on the band and get right. DeLon, right now, we'll call it hamstring tightness. I don't have an idea yet of severity, but obviously we're supposed to be in the game, so it's a bit of a concern.
What did you like about that third quarter in particular?
I thought we were able to get a little bit of a rhythm. It's always tough for a stretch without Brad. He's able to come back into the game, kind of give us some life. The changing defenses throughout, last season gave us a lot of problems. We handled it a little better tonight, so there's growth, in that area. But overall, I think, finding a way to play as close to 40 minutes as possible is big for us. It's not always going to go perfect, but we'll weather the storm and kind of separate there in the third and obviously the fourth.
And Will was really big for you as well. Brad was out. He's done so much for you. It kind of seems like he's a cool guy.
Gives us a lot of comfort. I mean, you never want to be without Brad, for a long stretch, but he's a guy that you can play through. And he can create his own offense. He's pretty good on the floor, playing pick and roll. So there's a comfort level with having another facilitator, playmaker, ball handler on the floor who can create offense. And it does take some pressure off of Brad, and of course, gives us a little parity with that second group.
Does he have free reign to do the behind the back, spin move, all that stuff?
Not yet.
What aspects of your defense did you like most tonight?
I thought we were cleaner with our coverage, and then more so second half than first. There were a lot of game plan errors that I thought allowed Detroit to hang around. We were up, and that game could have gone to 20, and we cut it back to 10. So it's just having the discipline to stay the course, make sure we're communicating at a high rate, we're all in sync and locked in. It's going to happen, but let's try to minimize those stretches as best we can.
And paint points for you today. What did you like about how you were able to score inside?
Well, we knew going in, they struggled a bit guarding paint. They bottom third in the league. It's been a strength of ours thus far. I think we're top 7 or 8 right now. So getting into the paint, obviously finishing at a high rate, and we know what that generates for us: free throws, open threes. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So anytime we can get downhill, it's been good for us.
Did you have to sell Will on the coming off the bench, or I know he did it in Denver with Michael, but he hadn't started the past 1 year?
Yeah, I don't know if I had to sell him on it. We talked about it, but I think his mindset, he's been on, part of winning culture of a winning team. He's mature enough, I think, at this point to understand the role, and he knows, in that second unit also gives him an opportunity to shine. And I tried to explain to him, Monte, all of our guys have a veteran feel that it's not who starts, it's who ends. And the flow of the game will determine that. A lot of nights that will be Will, it's Monte, DeLon. We have the flexibility to kind of pick and choose, in that moment as far as what we need.
And for Will, just how helpful is it to have Monte here with him, that they know how to play each other? It seemed like during that stretch without Brad, they were really kind of connecting with each other too.
Well, they've been through it. So having that synergy and kind of a feel for each other, I'm sure it's natural. And those guys have played several years together at high level, so I'm not surprised at all that they're right in sync.
How contagious are deflections?
I'm hoping they continue to be contagious. And the best part about it is we're creating those, generating turnovers, getting deflections, for the most part being solid. We're not up the line, we're not gambling. A lot of that I have to give credit to DeLon. And he kind of sets the tone, speeds guys up, which makes those plays that other guys are making behind him even easier. So it is one of his strengths. There's no doubt that it is contagious, and I think it just gives us life and energy, creates easy offense. Anytime we can get deflections and turn teams over, now we're running. We're pretty good once we get out and run.
And how important is it to get those without stretching your defense, without gambling too much?
Well, we've seen it on full transparency. We've struggled one-on-one as far as guarding the ball. So we don't want to be hugged up. We don't want to be overly aggressive where we're spread out, to your point. Now teams are just driving gaps, living in our paint, living downhill. So, the mindset is, sure, hand activity, multiple effort, being a step ahead of the play, being in our spots early, usually lends to those deflections. But we don't want to get up the line and, try to take teams out of their offense per se, because I think that does stretch you a little thin.
Wes, what does it mean to the team when Bradley Beal takes a charge?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's just another point of emphasis that we can point to is, if he can do it, anyone can do it. We're asking a lot of him. He's bought into the defensive side. I think he's been unbelievably good on the defensive end. With his energy, his attention to detail, and to ask him to have, to do it on both ends of the floor. Thus far, he's done it.
Given that was how he injured his wrist last year, is there a small part of you that cringes when you see him
I mean,
take a
you
charge?
can't worry about it. I mean, knock on wood, you can get hurt a lot of ways anytime you step on the floor. So, I don't think if you're concerned about it or if you're overthinking it, that's probably when it happens. I think it's a natural reaction. You take the charge and you just hope for the best. I don't think you have to overthink it. He's been through it. He's been through other injuries. So he's smart enough. He knows his body well.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to know who got the defensive belt tonight?
Tonight was Denny.
Okay. And it's a small sample size, but you're starting off 3-1. What's been the one constant so far in these 3 wins?
Well, defensively we've been solid. I think there's a lot to clean up. One night it was the free throws. The one trend, of course, that's concerning is the offensive rebounding. Did a better job tonight with our turnovers. 12 for 12 is manageable. So just cleaning up the glass, I think in general, I would say the defense has been relatively solid through this season.
Wes, depth behind Brad hasn't always been a strength during his tenure here. Can you speak to the options that you do have? I mean, even with Kispert out.
Well, yeah, that's to your point. I mean, Corey hasn't yet seen the floor with us, during the regular season. But I think they're just mixing and matching. Being able to play DeLon and Monte together. We haven't done it yet. We haven't had to do it. Obviously, have Brad and Will, and downsizing, and Denny at the 2 a little bit. So it gives us the flexibility to have multiple ball handlers on the floor, shot creation, and there's not a ton of drop off from that first to second unit. Finding that mix and blend, I think, is the biggest challenge.
And what do you hope Johnny takes from this experience?
Well, I think, it's tough. At the end of the game, you've been sitting for 46, 47 minutes. But take advantage of those minutes. I think he's gonna be really good and has the opportunity to get out there and hopefully as he kind of works his way through this, we stay healthy, but there will be opportunities for him to get minutes.
Coach, going back to when we were talking about going downhill, getting in the paint, I want to ask about Kyle Kuzma specifically. All 9 of his makes tonight came in the paint. He got to the line 8 times as well. Is that something that you and him have had conversations about? Is that a concerted strategy, is getting him downhill and at the rim specifically?
Well, I mean, it is, but it's also, I think, something we established last season is when you rebound and we push and you can attack in the open floor, that's the easiest opportunity. You see Ruby's trying to do it more. Kyle, he's been doing it. He did it last year at a high rate. It was good for us. So that whole concept of defend at a high level, rebound, get out and run, I think it allows for easy opportunities.
Coach, you guys had 5 players in double figures tonight. That's been a theme so far. What does that do for the offense when so many guys can contribute, and how's that going to help Brad long term, having to score less, having to take on less of that offensive burden?
I think it's huge. It's not just the guys scoring. If you look at the overall assist percentage, I think that's another night, 26 assists. That's huge. 26 for 44 field goals. So it's a solid balance where the ball's moving. It means that the moving body's moving the ball. Everybody's involved. So I think that helps also on the defensive end. Your overall offensive efficiency, but also guys feel like they're part of it. They're more invested in trying to defend at a high level. So I think it works in concert. And I do agree that does take pressure off Brad. We're asking him to do a lot, make plays, score for us. When he has the confidence to make those right plays at the right time and guys step up and make shots, I think that just reinforces his level of confidence in his teammates.
And how does the versatility play into that? Because like you said, like when Brad was out, you could run through Will, you could run through Kuz, sometimes through the post or Porzingis. What does that? How does that help you having all those different guys that can create offense for you?
Well, it gives you a level of comfort for sure. That there's not a ton of drop off. Like I said, you never want to be without Brad for too long, but we're able to weather that storm, which is a good sign not only for this group, but it just speaks to the depth and versatility that we have.
Coach, can you just elaborate on what you saw from James tonight and what you like from him defensively?
Oh, his physicality, his size, his length. He's a physical defender. I think once again he's still working back into the fold, so he doesn't have his legs under him. He still has to get his conditioning up, to play a full NBA game. But I like where he is. He's turning in the right direction. I think he's doing a better job of kind of letting the game come to him. It's tougher now as a starter, where last season as a second unit guy, we kind of played through him a little bit more. So I think he's just trying to feel out the offense, but he's hung his hat on the defensive end. He's done a terrific job.
Hey Wes, do you know if on the charges when Brad started to suffer the back tightness, or was it a
No, it was before.
And for Kuz, he said on postgame show that he quote unquote called himself a wimp from how he played last game. I guess was that a point of emphasis for you guys to say that? Hey,
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's good to be self-reflective, and that's how he felt. But across the board, we all could have been better. Certainly winnable. The fact that you're down 7 and 50 seconds left, you find a way to battle back. That speaks for itself. But we left some good points on the board. Early in the overtime, that probably would have given us a little separation. But it's a learning opportunity. That we have a team on the ropes. Gotta put them away.
And for Daniel, the block on Cade, you dapped him up afterwards. I guess how much do you just even want your players to feed off of your energy at times?
Well, I mean, I've been known to get really excited out there, so. I mean, you want your guys to know that you appreciate the effort. It's one thing to hold guys to a certain standard, but you also have to celebrate. Good. Thank you.